Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show. I guess this one will be English-Japanese episode. We're working on the illustrations for a project that I'm doing, and this is the first time that I'm really doing like paint-overs of AI art and trying to art direct a project without having to specifically go in and start each piece from scratch. So yeah, the role that I'm taking on for this is closer to that of an art director who asks for imagery and then chooses their favorite, one of the bunch and tweaks it until it works for what they need, and then, finalizes it. So that's what we're going to do for this. We've done a few of these already. There's a few of them that we did on stream, on pre-recorded episodes. And it's pretty impressive, the stuff that this thing does. Sometimes the faces can be a little strange, but let's mess around with this and see what we can do. I don't really know that much about the mixer brush in Photoshop, so I've been trying to learn that as well. Let's kind of mess with this kid's head here. Oops. Yeah, I'm still kind of learning how the mixer brush works. It kind of creates a combination of everything you're working with, I guess. And what we're essentially trying to do is turn this kid, his face into a less specific face, more just kind of gestural, because we don't want everything to be detailed in the picture. So let's pick a color from here. So to kind of de-emphasize his face, just to make it a little bit more like this, and also to work on making it a little bit less like it was before, like that. So yeah, it the 100% size is that, so we don't need to be focused in as much as we are while we're looking at this. And we're just gonna kind of I can't get exactly what I want with the mixer brush. I might end up switching. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it goes where I want it to. That's part of the process, I suppose, is to keep experimenting with stuff. So there's stuff like the kid's arm isn't showing up. Oh, neither is this kid's. Oh, neither of his arms are showing up. Let's give him an arm. Let's try to think of a pose for him too. And we should also kind of extend his leg there. And this is not, yeah, we want to make the brush a little bit more wet, so it kind of blends into this watercolor thing that we're doing here. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, again, still learning. This is all very interesting to me, the way that these digital workflows work. So I guess the more dry it is, the kind of like more no nonsense the brush is going to be. And the more it's just going to give you exactly what you pretty much asked for. Again, we don't have to have the this stuff be like 100% because we don't want it to take away the emphasis. Like it's supposed to have kind of more of a gestural feel, I guess. I'm still extremely impressed by the thing's ability to create imagery. 1 second. Okay. Good. Yeah, I would like to figure out how to make this brush. Maybe I should just use a different brush. I don't know. But how do you get it to have a sharper... Oh, that's a little bit sharper. It's not as sharp as I want it to be, though. Okay. This is not really... Yeah, I'm not getting great results out of like trying to do the mixing aspect. Yeah, I don't want it to be so, it needs to be like sharper or something. Maybe that means using a different brush. I don't really know. Whoa, not that. Yeah, I wish I could get this to be sharper. I guess it just means using another brush. I'm just procrastinating, not switching it. But this is basically the general idea of what we're trying to do, which is we're asking the Oracle to give us ideas or pictures and stuff, and then we are tweaking said pictures to what we need in the same way that an art director would do. Yeah. That kid's fine. I don't know what he's holding there. I think that's kind of a, whatever you call that, a tangent. I'm gonna get rid of that. So then the benefit of a mixer brush is that it is quite literally mixing the stuff like paint, which is a little bit closer to the discipline that I am trained to do. So it's a little bit more comfortable for me in theory, but I just have to learn to work with this particular tool, you know, figure out how to actually use it. Okay, so then this kid, we removed his arm pretty much, so let's put it back in. I don't understand why sometimes it gives me a different color than I want it to. What if I said very wet? What if I said very dry? Ooh, see that? Okay, yeah. Dry is more, I guess that does make sense because when you're using actual, hold on, this kid is, okay, yeah, he needs to be going like that. When you're using actual oil paints or whatever, you would, do exactly that. You would dry it if you wanted to, dry the brush if you wanted to get like a sort of cut a more specific line. This kid has like an incredible Hulk hand. Hold on a second. What is this? Oh, we're looking at an eraser here. Ah. I think that needs to be more behind his shirt and smaller. Like that. Okay. Took us long enough to do a very simple thing. Again, it's a portion of this is just learning how to use the tool set, so I have to expect that some of it's going to be a little bit on the slow side just to get used to stuff. But it's very interesting, and you know, it's interesting because I don't even really like, I don't know how to do this kind of art. I've never done watercolors before, but you know, it's obviously started me on the ground running with this kind of picture. I wouldn't consider this to be an image I made. I didn't, you know, I wouldn't say that I like created this picture from scratch, because I obviously didn't, but I would say that I brought it into being by asking the thing for what I wanted and then customizing it to the point that I needed it to be for what I was trying to make. Again, as an art director does. And it's interesting because it kind of it changes the nature of what it is to be working on an art project. Like, it's kind of a strange feeling. Oops. What else do we want here? We want to remove any of the kind of like AI looking stuff, like when the people have 3 legs or their arms are in the wrong spot or whatever. They pretty much look fine. Their faces pretty much look fine now. That's good. Let's kind of clear up some of the gook, that gobbledygook. It gets kind of like that artifacted, like, whatever junk all over their faces. So I'm just gonna kind of like fix that up a little bit. Good. And then I've been doing an effect on these. What did I look for? Texture. And I'm just adding like this kind of simple effect that's like a like this kind of thing where it recedes, picture recedes out in the corners. Very, you know, simplistic effect, but I think it looks pretty cool. And now let's do this here. And we'll bring some of it back in. And it also, this particular effect adds this texture of like sort of canvas texture to the corners, which is kind of cool. Oops. Yeah, okay. That's the original. That's what we added. So we changed the face of the kid in the back. We changed the face of all three of the kids, but the most significant change was the kid in the back, to just give him like more general features that weren't like stolen from a photograph or whatever. Let's just kind of blur his face a little bit more too, because we don't want him to really be like, oops. I guess this. Let's put dry on here. We just want him to have an indication of a face, but not an actual like face, if that makes sense. Because like as characters recede into the background, they should be less kind of noticeable. No. It doesn't seem to want to give me, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so instead of this face, it is now, oops. How do I turn this back on? Like this, like a more blurred out kind of, but more human looking face. We added arms to some of the characters whose arms had been removed. This, I can't really gesture to things, but this area here, there was like some weird stuff, so we just gave him a hand in the back. We made this simpler so that this big orange thing wasn't taking the focus, and then we added these corner texture things in. So as you can see, again, it's like I am art directing a picture that a being on my, let's call it my team, has created. It's not a human being, but it is, you know, a thing that draws inspiration from the world around it, just like human beings do. So a lot of people have problems with AI and the fact that it's able to reference other photos and pieces of art, but that's all a real human does at the end of the day. We're only products of the things that have inspired us. So I'm glad to have this consciousness on my team to help with these illustrations. And let's save it. So we'll go in here. You can see the other three pictures that we've done so far. This is school. Good, cool. And that's going to do it for that, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.